Any supermarket and you'll see a bewildering array of styles and brands. But deciding what's best for your family's health is now even more confusing, with the boutique bakeries raising the bar on the humble loaf.
Nice. Got it today. Come on, Michael, just try it. It's healthy.
In countless kitchens across the nation every morning.
Okay, do you want wholemeal?
No.
The great bread battle.
How about this one?
No.
You say healthy, they say soft, fluffy and white.
Come on,
No.
just try it. It's nice. I'll have half. Do you want half now?
No.
Never fear, Mrs. Kavvalos. There's a revolution happening. Could these grains be the answer? We're talking super bread. Here's the hottest new thing in bread. Ancient grains, some of them in use for thousands of years, and now they're going into exotic and tasty loaves with names you may never have heard of before. Quinoa?
Or is it quinoa?
I haven't tried that one.
You've got the frika.
I never even heard of that one.
Kamut.
What's cat?
Amaranth.
No, I haven't heard of that one either.
You've got millet.
No, I haven't heard of any of those.
Spelt.
Spelt flour.
I've tried the spelt.
Okay, Katrina, then there's teff or salva, no? Welcome to the wonderful world of ancient grains.
Look at that.
We're deep inside Brasserie. It's an artisan bakery.
Am I a baker or do I make art?
Bread artist Michael Clausen and his rapidly growing team is all fired up and making a lot of dough.
We want you as a consumer to have a slice of bread and go, wow, this is fantastic.
Now it takes 3 days to make some of these delectable loaves. They treat them like babies. Even the cribs are cloth lined.
We then leave the bread sitting overnight, kind of asleep in the fridge.
Yep, they're all asleep.
And the next day, we wake up the yeast by heating up the dough.
Yes, it sounds crazy, but the pampering means they don't have to use preservatives. The caramelised, crusty outer shell does that naturally. But all these ancient grains, are they worth paying double the price of a supermarket loaf?
Just because it's a superfood doesn't mean it has to be super expensive or super hard to find.
Despite that, nutritionist Amelia Burton buys and loves these artisan breads, so do her family. She also buys lots of supermarket bread, but she reckons the exotic ones shouldn't be dismissed as a fad for yuppies.
Now, there are some great health benefits with them. They're high in protein, high in nutrients, low in GI, but they can also be expensive and sometimes hard to find.
And that's the issue for Katrina Kavvalos. She's a working mum with no time to go boutique bread hunting.
I usually go to the store and see what different types of bread there are, and I'll just pick whatever is at hand at the time.
Katrina's keen to get young Michael off the plain white bread, but reasons it's better that he eat that than junk food or nothing at all.
It's a huge battle with kids, getting them off the white bread onto the healthy bread, but it's a battle worth fighting. Kids love fluffy bread, so the real challenge is finding a healthy multigrain bread that still has the fluff factor in it.
So Katrina, how do you know if a loaf on the shelf is fluffy enough?
Okay, this is really embarrassing, but I actually go around and I squeeze each loaf. Sometimes I'll pick it up and I'll have a look at the back, but that's not my main concern. My main concern is freshness over everything.
Time to move on, Katrina.
The next best to white bread is your wholemeal bread. You can see with this it's still nice and fluffy, but the better breads to really try to get your family onto are your whole grain breads, and these are the breads that you can physically see the grains in them.
Maybe the trick is to make sure you look at the pack and see how much salt and sugar is in there. We know that salt can be used as a preservative, so you can see here it is quite high in salt.
Over at Choice, Tom Godfrey reminds us that it's also what we can't see that should be guiding our decision. Now, ACA's mould tests in the past showed some breads were heavy on preservatives. If you're concerned, consider freezing your bread so you don't have to throw it away. The expert view?
Like anything in the freezer, over time they will start to lose their nutrients. I suggest freezing bread for no more than 3 months.
Finally, weight control. Topping the winners list are multigrains and rye bread, but the cruel reality is it's not just the type of bread, but also how much you eat. Portion control.
So when it comes to weight loss, what you want to look for is a bread that's lower in kilojoules. You want to go for a sliced bread that's thinly sliced.
Whatever your family's special needs, the bottom line is that those new super breads have a lot to offer, but the humbler supermarket breads are also impressive. Only you can decide which are right for your family.
Do you really need to opt for an expensive bread, or can you just have typical white bread? It's really up to personal choice.
And the top of the range now costs 10 times more than the cheapest.